Okay, Chapter 3, Day 2. We're going to focus on how do we multiply radicals now. So how do we multiply things with square roots? And so, in general, we multiply the outsides with the outsides. So the things that are on the outsides, we multiply together. And insides with insides. So the things that are on the inside of the square root, we multiply together. And then simplify if possible. So for example, let's take a look at this problem. We have 3 square root of 8 times 2 square root of 7. Again, outsides with outsides. So I take the 3 and the 2, and I multiply these together, and I get 6. Insides with insides. I take the 8 and the 7, and I multiply these together, and I get 56. Okay, you might say, oh, we're done. Simplify if possible. So I got a little more work to do. Okay, so I have to think of a perfect square in 56. Wow, I can't think of that off the top of my head. So I'm going to make my list. 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. Probably close enough. 49 cannot go in. 36, no. 25, no. 16, I wonder if 16 times 3 works. Nope, that's 48. 9, no. 4. 4 goes in, 4 and 14. Okay? So I think 4 will work. 4 times 14 is 56. So this is going to be square root of 4, square root of 14. 6 comes down. 6 times the square root of 4, that's going to be 6 times 2 radical 14. I get 12 radical 14. So this, again, outsides with outsides, insides with insides, simplify. Turns out to be 12 radical 14. Okay? Next, what if we have binomials? All right, so here we have 2 terms multiplied by 2 terms, all right? So if you remember, when we multiply binomials, we need to multiply the first things. So there's a 1 out here that I don't see, so 3 times that 1 would be 3. Radical 6 times radical 3 is radical 18. The outer, so now I got 3 radical 6 times 3 times 1 radical 6, but negative. I got negative 3 radical 36. The insides, radical 3 times radical 3 is radical 9. And then the last, positive radical 3, negative radical 6 is a negative radical 18. Okay? So just like what we did today in class, you were given something like this, and now you have to clean it up. So now we're doing what we did today in class. So let's break down what we can. This is going to be square root of 9, square root of 2, with a 3 out front. Square root of 36, that's just 6. So I don't break it down because it's just 6. Square root of 9 is 3. And 18 again is going to be square root of 9, square root of 2. So I have 3 times 3 radical 2 minus 18 plus 3 minus 3 radical 2. So now, combining all the like terms, 3 times 3 is 9 radical 2 minus 3 radical 2. 9 minus 3, that's 6 radical 2. And negative 18 plus 3 would be a negative 15. I prefer to write it, though, with the 15 first. So 15 minus, I'm sorry, negative 15, because the negative is on the 15. So it'd be negative 15 plus 6 radical 2. And so again, when you multiply the binomial, you got the first, the outer, the inner, and then also the last. Last one we're going to take a look at. Then when we come to class, we're going to work on these. Okay, last one. Pi, I can put pi there, it doesn't matter. Pi minus radical 3 squared. Well, my tip would be when something is squared is to write it twice and then FOIL. So I'm going to write pi minus radical 3 times pi minus radical 3. Okay? So now, first, pi times pi, that's pi squared. Outer, that's a negative pi radical 3. Inner, that's another negative pi radical 3. And last, negative times negative is positive. Radical 3 times radical 3 is radical 9. So I have a pi squared minus a pi radical 3 minus a pi radical 3. That's minus 2 of those pi radical 3 things. Plus a radical 9. Well, radical 9, that's just 3. And that's that answer. Now, something happened last problem and this problem, and I want to make sure if you caught it. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 was the square root of 9, which really turned out to be 3. Notice how that 3 is the same number on the inside. Let's see what happened last problem. Square root of 6 times square root of 6 was the square root of 36, which was just 6. Notice 6, same number on the inside. Square root of 3 is square root of 9, which is just 3. The square root of anything times itself is just the anything under the square root symbol. And that's something that we're going to work a lot with later on as we get into this stuff. So for today, that is Chapter 3, Day 2 video, multiplying radicals.